Most engineering students think that focus is all about having more discipline. It's not. Focus is actually much simpler. It's just about the quality and quantity of options that you say no to. Think about the most focused student imaginable. The guy who studies all day. No breaks, no entertainment, no distractions. Sounds impressive. But there's one problem. If he literally studied all day and ignored everything else, he'd die. If he literally studied all day and ignored everything else, he would eventually die. He wouldn't eat, he wouldn't sleep, he wouldn't drink water, and dead people don't usually score well in exams. So the goal isn't maximum study hours. The goal is asking, what is the most that I can do while remaining alive and sane? That's a completely different question. Because once you've covered the essentials, sleep, food, water, exercise, basic human functioning, then everything else becomes optional. And that's where most students lose. Not because they're bad at studying, but because they gave themselves too many options. They sit down to study, then there's Instagram, then there's YouTube, then WhatsApp, then one quick reel, then one more, and then suddenly it's dark outside. So here's the uncomfortable situation. Make it physically impossible to get distracted. Delete Instagram, delete YouTube, switch your phone off, keep it in another room. Remove the option entirely. Now, whenever I say this, people ask, Tim, isn't this a bit too extreme? And I'm like, yes, it is. Do I do it? Yes. Am I alive? Yes. And surprisingly, I'm even happier because the first few days suck. Your brain is used to constant stimulation and every spare second gets filled with content. But after a while, something interesting happens. Your dopamine baseline starts stabilizing. The urge to constantly check your phone gets weaker and weaker and weaker, and suddenly studying doesn't feel painful anymore. In fact, when there's nothing else to do, studying actually looks pretty attractive. But even after removing distractions, there's another problem. Your mind still wanders. You'll be reading a page, and then 5 minutes later, you're thinking all about cricket, internships, your crush, or why pigeons walk like that. And that's completely normal. Most people think meditation means completely focusing on your breath. It doesn't. Meditation has four phases. First, you focus on your breath. Then your attention drifts. Then you realize it drifted. And then you bring it back. And that cycle repeats over and over and over again. Studying works the same way. Read, get distracted, notice it, come back. That's focus. Not never getting distracted. Getting distracted and return faster. In fact, the faster you return, the more focused you are. But even if you master that, there's still one mistake that students make. They think more hours always equals more output. It doesn't. At some point, the law of diminishing returns kicks in. You spend an extra hour of studying and you learn almost nothing. Your brain is exhausted, your attention is cooked, and now recovery becomes more valuable than work. That's when you sleep, that's when you eat properly, that's when you take a break. And please, when you take a break, don't doom scroll. Go for a walk, talk with friends and family, do something you enjoy. Because the goal isn't to survive one study session, the goal is to be able to do it again tomorrow. The students with the best focus aren't necessarily smarter, they aren't born with superhuman concentration. They've simply become ruthless about what they say no to. And that's what focus really is. Not how hard you can concentrate, but how many distractions you're willing to eliminate. If you like this video, you'll love this one. Check it out, and I'll see you over there. Bye.